Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Hockey Writers Inc. That's right, we're sitting here with our great host, Lance Green. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
Oh, man, you know why we're here. You know what we're going to talk about. That's right, folks. We're talking about the NHL 2022 entry draft, and the Philadelphia Flyers picked the 5th overall selection, and it was...
Cutter Gauthier.
Oh!
The guy that I picked this year for the Flyers to select in the first round. And I have to say, we started talking about this kid way back in March. Is when I started writing about him, and he was on nobody's radar really at that point. He was maybe viewed as a late first round pick at that point. A good player on a very stacked United States team. But I saw something in him, and I said, we need to watch out for this kid. He's something special. And lo and behold, by the end of the season, he was moving up and scoring goals right and left. So
Exactly.
good on him. Yep, good on him. I'm glad that we did not go with the defenseman, David Jiricek. He's been injured, like I said. He's a stay away for me. He already has had a complete and utter knee surgery at just 18 years old. That's a red flag for me. That's another Nolan Patrick in my mind. So I am so happy that the Flyers were able to select this kid. He is a big-bodied winger with great size, 6'2", 6'3", over 200 pounds, and is that power forward that the Flyers have been and having so much success with in the years past, with Johnny Leclerc, with Knuble,
he's even a natural left winger.
All the names.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the cool thing. Like, a natural left winger. Here's the other thing that I'm really, really, really excited about with Cutter, and that is that he is committed to going to Boston College for next season. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. When you look at the annals of college hockey and who's making it to the Frozen Fours, you're seeing the Bostons, the Minnesotas, the Michigans, we're talking about these big schools that these kids are going to go play at, right? So came out of the United States Hockey League to go right into NCAA.
Right.
I can't even begin to tell you how great this is for United States hockey and for the NHL period, and the fact that it's validifying the junior leagues now in the United States.
Right.
Okay? And it's putting it now up there with the Canadian ones and the ones from Europe now. I mean, you're starting to see number one picks now coming out of the United States, coming out of United States run teams and factories now. I mean, this is impressive.
Well, the United States, they also had Logan Cooley this year already go. They're going to have quite a few others in the next couple picks.
I know.
Here we should see some more. Like every few past seasons, they've had a lot. But let's talk about Cutter here. Let's talk about the player we just got. This season, he was the highest scoring player on the goal-wise on the national program. All right. When you compare him to that kid, Logan Cooley, who just got selected a couple spots before him, he outscored Cooley 53 goals this season to only 40. Now, Logan had a lot more assists, but Cutter was by far the top goal scorer on the national development team. All right. Like I said, he had 53 goals this year, 19 when playing against the USHL's teams, and 34, surprisingly, when playing against most of the NCAA's top teams already. When they were playing against Team USA. So great pickup here. I really think that he's going to be a great player. He had 93 points on the season this year. Was a plus 47 this year. And at the World Junior Class Championships, he had 6 games. He had 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 points there. Like Steel already said, he's going to Boston College next season. In my mind, I think he's NHL ready already. Yeah. He's got the NHL size. He's got the scoring ability.
6'2", 208 pounds, yep.
I think they're calling him 6'3" now. Like he's had a little bit even more of a growth spurt since the beginning of this year. So an absolute force. He can skate with the best of them. And, he's good in and around the net. He has a shot away from the net, out by the circles, just can do anything, that he can put his mind to, really. And, he doesn't have to put on any weight. He doesn't have to put on size. He's got all the intangibles already. I think the Flyers really lucked out in getting this player. In the last, I put my mock draft out back in tail end of June. Yeah. And right after that, it really seemed like he was shooting up to the 5th overall spot to be picked virtually. The Flyers come out and there was rumors that they were pretty high on him. And, why not? This kid's got plenty of talent, plenty of size, plenty of toughness. He can play center as well. So they're going to see, what if they're going to use him at center or if they're going to use him at wing. So we'll have to see what goes on there. But I'm overjoyed with this pick. So
yeah, me too. He's got a great shot. He has good vision on the ice. You know what I mean? He has good anticipation. And he also plays a 200-foot game, which I think is going to be something that maybe not necessarily inadvertently are you grabbing guys that are, Tortorella guys or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you're grabbing guys that are capable of playing the 200-foot game. So it doesn't really matter who the coach is. You know what I mean? It could be any coach. As long as you can play a 200-foot game, we're all good. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're responsible defensively, we're all good. Like I said, he is going to be playing for Boston College next year, and man, that team is starting to look pretty good. That Boston College team is starting to look pretty good with the list of guys that are going to be going there.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're always a good team there. And, the guys that are coming in, Cutter's obviously the biggest name probably coming in. They already have some players that, been drafted by other teams like the Bruins and the Avs coming in next season as well. So, we'll have to see for sure. It'll be interesting. They will definitely be, one of the bigger teams there. So in that division.
Exactly.
That bean pot should be interesting for sure.
I know, man. I can't wait to check that out. I mean, he's probably going to be a very integral part in the team this year because they had some guys move up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Boston College. So, and he also, when he was playing for the championships, he was wearing the A on his sweater, right? So he's an alternate captain. So that means he's got leadership qualities. Do you know what I mean? And I like the fact that you mentioned this too. He doesn't have to do anything as far as like, well, man, you got to put 10 pounds on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, well, man, you got to put 2 or 3 inches on. You know, like you need to keep drinking your milk and eating your chicken, right?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite sayings. But but yeah, this, like I said, this guy's virtually ready now. If the Flyers wanted to talk him into playing, I don't think there's any need to rush him. Though I think you could allow him to go,
Well,
yeah, there's obviously a need, but I don't think you do rush him. I don't think you want to hurt his development. So by letting him go, the team, he's not going to make, and by saying that, I mean, he's not going to make the difference to make them a playoff team next year. He's not going to make, especially with Joel Farabee out already, for who knows how long it's going to be. So, they're already off to a bad start. Now they don't have a backup goaltender because if you guys got a chance to read my latest article, Ivan's not coming to Philly anymore. So who knows?
Probably
who
not.
knows what we're going to do there?
Erase that little.
Yeah,
we might as well erase that little dream.
He's on a submarine or something up in the.
So that's something that I wanted to touch base with here. We did a show last week. We did the mock draft, and thank you all very much for checking that out. Really appreciate that. And we did select Cutter Gauthier as our 5th overall pick for the Flyers, and lo and behold, that's what we got. Last week, Lance was able to write an article about said goaltender Ivan Fedotov, and I want to briefly talk about this a little bit here because I think this is something that really needs to be addressed as far as the fact that you wrote this really great article, okay? And it points out some very important things that are going on right now with Ivan Fedotov, okay? So why don't you give us a little breakdown here, Lance, of what this article was about?
Sure. So if obviously it's pretty big news with Ivan after he signed. He was playing for CSKA, big Russian KHL team over there.
By the way, that's the Red Army team. In case y'all don't know that,
the Red Army team, right? And he did go win a silver medal at the Olympics. He did come back to the KHL after doing that. He did win the league's championship, voted pretty much best goaltender, in the league. Excellent season this year. His 6th season in the KHL, and he didn't really have anything to prove there anymore. So he finally decided to sign with the Flyers for 1 season and come over. He was going to come over this year, but the team's owner in the KHL didn't take too kindly to this. And being that Putin is his best friend in the realm of things, Ivan was at practice and got apprehended and taken into basically custody by the Russian army and forced into a van and taken to a military outbase or whatever, where they, bring in people that to introduce them into like MEPS or something here and go through everything.
Man, it's been a while since I heard that term.
Right.
Let's break it down here for you real quick here. In a lot of countries in Europe, especially like the bloc countries, are force the male citizens to do a minimum 2-year service. England still does it. Germany still does it. Russia apparently still doing it, and there's a couple other. I think Norway's doing it, or a couple other countries are still doing it. Okay, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it because it gives an opportunity for the people to kind of go through it, experience it, and it's like the selective service here in the United States. Okay, the only thing is that in the selective service in the United States, you don't have to go serve. You just have to sign up so you can be eligible to serve or to be drafted. Well, in those European countries, they draft you, right, and they bring you in for 2 years.
Right, but it's the difference here in Fedotov's case.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to differentiate that, because in some of those countries like Russia, where if you do not do your service, and it's not like that, it's like that with other countries too. Like if you skip out on service, you can still, that's a criminal charge.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So right. It's not like it's unheard of at all, because it, according to laws, they have to serve a 2-year military service before they're a certain age.
Right. So this being Russia, none of this was brought up, and it was said by Ivan's lawyer as well. none of this was brought up or anything in the making before Ivan decided to come to the States, to the Flyers, and sign a deal. It was a retaliatory effect on after he signed that deal that, the KHL and, the owner of the Red Army team was pissed off that he did so. And so he called his buddy Putin and made him pay basically and go to the military service. His family was not allowed to talk to him or see him. He was taken to the hospital after receiving shots that he was not, vaccines, whatever the case may be, that he was not allowed to know what they were. He was rushed to the hospital because he suddenly felt very ill. And, after that, after he was in the hospital, which was a, veteran hospital, or, what we would have over here, basically a military hospital. And his family and lawyer weren't allowed to see him. They weren't allowed to know where he was in the hospital, anything like that, even if he was really there. And in the middle of the night, after that, they shipped him up to Serbia, where he looks to possibly now be on Russian submarines and thrown into military service. So where people, men in our country, are to be drafted and sign up for selective services at 18 if there is to be a draft. This was totally retaliatory. And now today, news broke that Kirill Kiprasov is now being hunted down by Russian forces, and he's trying to evade get out of the country because he, like Ivan, spent a lot of years
to serve his military term.
Right. Spent a lot of time in Russia playing for, I think, the exact same team.
Yeah.
Yep. And at that point, he signed and came to the States. Well, he was back over there visiting family and friends and all that, but got word of them looking for him as well. So he's since tried to flee the country and come back over here. Now that they're trying to force his military service into effect, basically out of, in my mind, retaliation as well. There was no real mention of that as long as he was OBKB playing in the KHL. But as soon as he wanted to better his life and his situation, his career, that.
Okay. Yeah. It's a real shame that this kind of stuff has to happen. It's a real shame that these kinds of things are still continuing to go on, even though we're in the year 2021 or 2022. It's, but that's the way it is, and those are the rules, and it's not. I'm not siding by any stretch of the word with what's going on, okay? Because what happened is something that should not be happening, okay? But just reporting on the fact that and the really sad thing is that Ivan Fedotov, very promising career, potentially in the National Hockey League, and we probably won't see that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now the Flyers will have to scramble. I mean, that aside is beside the point, really, in my mind, because they just lost a great prospect, and just his safety, in my mind, is in question now.
Exactly.
With the Russian forces and military and
exactly
everything like that. So that's horrible. But if you look at it from a Flyers standpoint, now they don't have a backup goaltender. Felix Sandstrom, in my mind, is not that guy to fill in. You're looking at a guy like Casey DeSmith is already re-signed with the Penguins. That would have been an option. A lot of options are now drying up as teams are trying to build their team. They thought they already had him, and now they don't.
Let me throw one out there. Billy Husso, is potentially available as a free agent.
I think he's going to go to starting job with possibly Edmonton. They have a great offense and some young defensemen there, but every season it seems like they want to keep bringing back a 40-some-year-old Mike Smith to be their savior, and he's not that. He was never that, and that's why they can't get over that next bump.
Yeah.
They really haven't had anybody since,
by the way,
Cujo, or I don't know.
By the way, the Sabres just selected Savoy. Right. So the Buffalo Sabres picked Matthew Savoy with their pick. Now, this is what I don't understand here. How is this the Ducks are selecting a kid from Russia who's actually here on stage?
Well, he played all this year. This is the difference. You're going to see these Russian players fall that came from Russia, but players, this gentleman played in the OHL this past season.
Pavel.
Okay. Pavel played in he's a defenseman that played in the OHL, just like, excuse me, just like Ivan Provorov did. He played stateside. His family came over, brought him over here that he could play over here. So those are going to be the safe picks coming from Russian-born players. I think you see those great players fall, and in a sense, that are from Russia, because just the short question of whether they're going to be able to come over here, and out of fear for
be able to stay here or whatever.
I mean, I don't think any are in-house. I'm with you on that. This time. So, Pavel's already been over here. He's played in the OHL. He's played in the Canadian, junior leagues, and he did like what Provorov did and came over here and played instead of playing over there. Yep. And I think that's what a lot of players are going to do.
Now they are, I think.
Right. As soon as they can leave Russia, they're going to leave Russia, and they're going to try to come over here in the middle of the night, like Cuban baseball players defecting, in tournaments and stuff like that. You're going to see more of that now. I think you're going to see players, running away during tournaments and stuff like that to defect over here. And, it's sad to say that, but it's just actual reality of what's going on in that country right now.
Yeah. So we wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about that and to address that situation, because we really felt that Ivan was the next answer for Philadelphia, thinking that he was going to be pushing Carter Hart, to say the least, be pushing him, and probably be fighting for number one spot eventually. But unfortunately, that pipe dream is now going to go away, and now Philadelphia is going to have to scramble around to try to find a backup goaltender to come in here and help out. And we would also like to say that the Philadelphia Flyers selected with the 5th overall selection Cutter Gauthier, who originally was born in Sweden but played for the United States Hockey League this year and played in that program and did very, very, very well. And we're looking very forward to seeing him progress throughout his career here in Philadelphia. And we're hoping that by the time he makes it to Philadelphia, that there's some development coaching and some better guys there that can help develop his game even more. So,
well, that's hopefully, the good part is that he's going to get some good coaching there at Boston College, and then hopefully just come straight to the Flyers and bypass the Phantoms and their god awful player development. So
there you go. That would work. Well, Lance, listen, man, this was just our quick little reactionary show to the 5th overall pick. And then I just wanted to briefly touch there on what was going on with the Ivan Fedotov story. So why don't you tell the folks where we can find you, where we can get you?
Sure. You can always find me on Twitter at LNGBASSIST, the numbers 39.
Awesome sauce, man. And listen, folks, after the final round of the draft, Lance and I will be back for the reaction on all the rest of the picks from the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay, so that'll be, even though they don't have a second round pick, so that'll be rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And unless they do get a second round pick for the trade or whatever, we'll be adding that into the show tomorrow. So be checking that out tomorrow. So we're gonna have two releases right in a row here. Quick little Hockey Writers Inc. show. So thanks everybody for watching us. Thanks for everybody for checking us out. You can see me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. Check us out on the web at www.steelflyers.com/link/Hockey Writers Inc. We will catch you all on the next show.
Thanks, guys.